Okay, so a while ago I put up a gallery of like a tour of my games room, posted it to Reddit. Somebody replied suggesting I do a video tour. So this is that. I haven't had a chance to do it since. It was a little while ago. There's been a couple of updates, but I figured I've got some spare time. I'll get on it. So this will be a tour of my games room. Just get, move way back. You get a bit of an overview first of all. So this is one end. It's the end of my main cabinet on it, and there's the PlayStation games and a whole bunch of Nintendo stuff on the right. Dreamcast and some Lynx stuff as well. Over here is mainly 32-bit stuff. Dreamcast, the N64 on there as well. Vectrex. Some games. Come back to them. That purple light's for the fish tank, but there's the other end of the room. All the stuff on there, and over here there's another bunch of shelves. I'm going to start over here. This is my PS2 shelf. These little doors just lead into storage in the eaves, but I built these shelves into them to be just the right height for a DVD case and therefore PlayStation 2 games. So here they are. I think I've got probably more physical PS2 games than any other machine. It's probably closer, I think, between that and the 360 and the Wii actually as well. These were out and current at a time when I had a lot of spare money to spend on games. On the end here's my Xbox games. That's all of them. Like most people with an Xbox, I've got some dodgy copies, but those are all the legit ones. Come straight over. It nearly went past the Vectrex. You can't ever go past the Vectrex. Most beautiful machine. A lovely thing. If you've never seen one up and running, nothing an emulator could ever do justice to. You really need to see them in the flesh. They're brilliant. So just come right here. There's nothing particularly unusual up here. There's my PlayStation, the first of 3 PlayStation I've got, and there's a PSP, Neo Geo Pocket Color. It's my Dreamcast, and there's a yellow Game Boy. Picked that up at boot sale for a £5. I was well chuffed with that. Just got a bit of a smudge on the A button instead of the letter A. There's a Game Boy Color, N64 there. Game Boy Advance, and then there's a NES Edition SP and a Game Boy Micro. Just sat in there, got my Action Replay in it. I've obviously been playing something imported, a DS and a 3DS. I've got a DS Lite as well, but it's currently getting fixed. It's my Atari Jaguar and one of my free Jaguar games. It's the only one I've got a box for. And there's the Atari Lynx. Model 1 Atari Lynx, just one of my favourite things in the world. It's a great looking thing. I love that. And then on the end, excuse my bare feet in the reflection, this is my MX2000. It's a Bang & Olufsen TV CRT 21 inch. I love this thing. It's just a great TV. Picked up second hand a little while back, cost me about 15 quid. It's my PC down there with the joysticks on top. It's my PlayStation 1 with the screen. I want somewhere else to put that, I haven't found it yet. That light there is it shows my PC's on. It's a standby light. If the light's on, the PC is on. If it goes off, it's gone into standby. Top drawer here, PSP games. A couple of boxes knocking around the back there, but this is just some PSP stuff. The 3DS one on the end is just a spare box, but the PSP, I don't love the PSP, but every time now and again you see a game for pennies basically, I can't resist but pick it up. I don't think I paid more than a couple of quid for any of those. And next drawer down is cram full of ZX Spectrum stuff. There's more of this out. My favourite stuff, but you'll see in there, there's just tons of it. Lots of magazine cover tapes and budget tapes, but all the best stuff is out on the shelf. We'll come to a little later. Next drawer down is Acorn Electron stuff entirely. I love these big boxes. The Acorn Electron games, the Acorn soft ones, I think they look brilliant. Once I've got them all, I think I'll get them out somewhere. There's some budget stuff down the back there as well. That's all my Acorn stuff, and the last one is just a few odds and ends and some boxed Amiga games. Not all of them. A couple of PC games I've got kicking around. But yeah, I mean that's kind of got some Wii controller sleeves in the background there. Guess I had nowhere else to put those. But moving onwards, straight onto the PlayStation 1 lot. This is another one. I think PlayStation 1, I buy games for that second hand quite a lot. There just seems to be a lot of games I've not heard of, and I like a little bit of a hidden gem, so when I find one of those, I'll pick it up. I've got doubles of a few for Link Play as well. And I think my newest game's down here. There we go, that Japanese game in the middle there, that's Rival Schools. So I've got that PAL and Japanese now. They're very different games on the two versions. And there's some Vectrex games on there. There's all my box Vectrex games and Link's game right at the end there. Gates of Zombies in a massive box, doesn't really fit anywhere else. Let me just whiz past my main cabinet a second, and we get to the amiibos. These are all three of my amiibos. I picked these up. The Yoshi one came with the game. The other two are on sale. I was shopping with my nephews. There's a Game Boy in the end there. It's not quite as yellow as it looks in that picture, but it does need cleaning up a little bit. Need to retro like that. And onto my Dreamcast stuff. I mean, I do like to pick up Dreamcast stuff. I've got most of what I want. I've got some valuable stuff on there. I think Gunbird 2 goes for a bit. Power Stone 2 and Project Justice there. Yeah, they're pretty sought after games. We've got Street Fighter Double Impact. But I mean, most importantly, rather than the value, these are all great games. This is my imports on the end there. Japanese, and then a few more Lynx games just along here. These are all my Lynx. I do love Lynx. I'd like more box games. Lynx, you can actually get them very reasonably in the wrapping still, so you know the game's going to have nothing wrong with it. I'll soon bust open that packaging and play it, but it's good to know it's always going to work. There's the Wii U. It's all my physical Wii U games. I've probably got about the same digital. Same for the Wii. I've got quite a lot of Wii games. You'll notice as I scoon along here and get my finger out of the way. No shovelware. Everyone reckons all you can get on the Wii is just shovelware, but I've got a ton of games here, and a good amount I bought off WiiWare as well in the machine, and they're all great. And that's all of my GameCube games, all 8 of them. That's the entirety of my GameCube collection. Let me come on to the DS. Yeah, I've been picking up. I had, like most people, I had an R4 card for my DS, but I've been picking up games along the way as well, and then the 3DS stuff. I've got quite a few 3DS games, I guess. Good ones, I think, is the important thing. There are a lot of crap 3DS games. I only pick up decent ones. Ones I like. On to Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. You notice there's 2 games there. The first and the last in that last box, if I can stand still long enough. There's no writing anywhere on the edge of the box. It doesn't say what game it is. There you go. Since War Glory days, nowhere on the edge does it say what that is. So it's a bit of an annoyance. I've got a couple like that. The other one's on the end there, that purple one. That's I think that's Top Gear Rally 2. It's just really annoying. Little things that bug me. And then onto the SNES stuff. All these boxes are only since new, so since when they were new, I should say, other than a couple. I think I rebought that Lost Vikings is a rebox, by the way, in case you're wondering. And some other thing, but I think I rebought some stuff. I don't think I bought a boxed SNES game to add to the collection. Also, all those are from new. Straight over here is ZX Spectrum, C64, and a bunch of Sega stuff. So that's the Spectrum, and then next shelf down is the C64. You'll see I really need to repaint the back of that shelf. Never really finished it. And then the Sega stuff at the bottom. So I've got my it's a Mega Drive there, and the Master System. A few Saturn imports. I've only just recently been able to play Saturn imports, and a couple of Jaguar games. My other 2 Jaguar games. So I'm just going to scan along here for the C64 stuff. Nebulous, brilliant game. I've got 3 different versions of that. I have that for the Game Boy as well. It's a great version of it. Batman and Robocop. I think I've got a few versions of those as well. Stunt Car Racer, and that's one of the greatest games ever made. It's just some nice little collection of Spectrum stuff there in the double-sized boxes. They're pretty cool. And we're in Exploding Fist, which is one of the first games I ever played, so I thought I'd have that one out for everyone. But just gonna go back because I forgot to show you underneath these guys. So underneath here, this is an old school locker. It was left in a garage when my friend bought his house, and this is how I use it. Put some wheels on the side of it and put some more consoles in there. There's an Acorn Electron. Don't know how many people have heard of them. It's a great machine. There's the Game Boy stuff. The stuff on the left there is stuff I'm going to sell. There's a couple of PlayStations. They're a bit of a mess at the minute. I really need to figure out what I'm going to do with those. The smaller ones are more useful for playing imports, so I'll probably just put the PS2, the big one, in storage. So my other PlayStation I recently bought, waiting for delivery on a multi-region PlayStation. So one of the two, the one on the top of this one will be sold on, and I will use the other one for link play and for playing the multi-region stuff. So yeah, with those two and the small one with a screen, that's 3 PlayStations. My Xbox, fairly recent addition for me. That's my Saturn wheel. If you got any interest in the racing games, particularly the motorbike racing games on the Saturn, you really need to get yourself one of those wheels. They completely transforms them. And this is the SCART setup, so it's all linked up. You see, you can select any one of, I can't tell, all of those basically. They're all wired up to the TV straight off, and they also, cables go off behind the wall to the other TV. I'll get to show you in a minute. So they can be played on either. This is my unboxed Nintendo stuff. You'll see that unlike the American versions of the games, there's nowhere on the outside of the game you can see the label for this N64 and the Super Nintendo stuff, but you can on the NES ones. Yeah, cracking games all, and I'm just going to pick a few of these out at random to show you what we got. We got Mario Kart. What else? It's Cannon Fodder. It's a fantastic game. Even that version of it without a mouse is still brilliant. And Star Wars is an absolute classic. You hear a lot these days people going on about it's unplayable because of the frame rate and the speed, and that's absolute bollocks. It's a brilliant game. Jet Force Gemini, also a brilliant game. What here? Top Gear Rally, must confess I haven't played that one yet, I only bought that recently. And Quake 2, I've had that ages, got it in a bundle, haven't played that either. I need to pull my finger out on the N64 actually. I haven't played many of my games, but I did just recently complete Blast Corps, and it was excellent. Next to that is the Sega stuff and Atari 2600. Don't have many games for that either. I think 4 in total. There's 3 in here, 1 in the machine. I think I see some of those games. Yet another copy of California Games. I think I've got California Games for about 7 different machines currently. There's the Mega Drive. I don't have it for that. I will do. And there's 2600. What's this one on the end here? That's look, it's California Games. And that one, Suppress Tennis. When I get a new console, I tend to go on eBay and look for a bundle. So I end up with some games, although they're half decent, and it's not anything I'm just going to throw away. They're not stuff like that. Suppress Tennis, that would have come in a bundle with some other stuff I wanted more. It's the Game Boy games. I've got Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance in here. I've also got Neo Geo Pocket Color links as well. You see that Castellian that's just flicked across there? That's Nebulous. That's a different name for that. See, I got all sorts in there. Down here, let's move that card out of the way. That's WarioWare Twisted. That's a brilliant version of that. Got a gyroscope in it. There's the rest of my Lynx games. Let's have a look, see what we can see. There's Batman, I just got that the other day. Switchblade 2. Todd's Adventure in Slime World, all good games. Warbirds is brilliant. It looks incredible on the little Lynx screen. I got California Games for that as well, actually. But yeah, those just tucked away down the end there. Those are all stored up. I'm gonna trade them or sell them. I don't want those anymore. There's stuff that I've got in bundles that's just too crap to keep, basically. Or I've got doubles of in the case of Tomb Raider. So we come down to this end of the room. Excuse me while I get comfortable. So this is my 14-inch Sony Triniton TV. It's quite an old model, but it works to treat everything Down here, sort of 8-bit stuff is hooked up to this TV and a few of the other bits as well. Yeah, she's pretty good. So there, that's 2600, and the Nintendo there, they're both hooked up to there. The ZX Spectrum. Obviously, the Wii U isn't. That Spectrum is actually linked up to the cassette player on the left-hand side there, so that's where you load the games for that from. Just next to Shadow, and then they've got the Super Nintendo underneath it there. That's also linked up to the little 14-inch TV. I do have it set up so I can put some of these games up to Eva TV, but not all of them. So little MAS system here. I need a new cable for that. That's just on coax at the minute, but it's such a beautiful machine. Had to have that hooked up. And there's a Mega Drive. There's a Amiga 600. I recently bought a floppy emulator for, which is why there's a USB stick stuck out the end of it. And then there's the Wii and the Wii U piggybacking each other down there next to the GameCube, which, as you can imagine, it's quite difficult to open and get the power on, but I've got nowhere else to put it. It doesn't look too bad there. Above that, it's a SCART switch. So yeah, the little yellow plugs on the right hand side there send anything off to the 14-inch that I can. So there's the Commodore 64, and that's my Siamese Fighting Fish Res. That pink light's a full spectrum light. It's not for him really, it's for his plants. Try and keep those alive. And that's PS3, 60GB PS3, the good one. And next to that, the core, the first ever model of the Xbox 360, which is the best looking one, and on the end, the cassette player for the Commodore 64. These boxes down the bottom here, the white ones, those are full of my Xbox 360 games. I think one of them's all PS3, the others are all 360, so I have a fair few games for that. I don't think I'll bother opening them up. Now this thing here, little plug and play, or Namco plug and play, that's great. I love the joystick on that. It's got a twist joystick. It's got pole position on there, and you twist it to steer. There's a NES and a SNES Mini. SNES is Japanese one, so it's Famicom. I do have the wires all set up to go in there. It was looking a bit cramped when I had them up on the thing, so I moved them away. And that's everything. That's your whole lot. So yeah, I hope that was worth your while. Cheers for watching. Thanks very much.